Dear Vineyard Nordic Youth, it is an honor to be with you today. My name is Rasmus and I am a youth pastor in Roskilde Vineyard. I hope you are enjoying your summer, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope and pray that you are having a good time, basically. A couple of weeks ago, Christopher Ogo from Copenhagen Vineyard, he talked here on VNY Talks. He talked about friendship. He talked about the 4 friends who carried their friend to the feet of Jesus. They broke a hole in the roof and they dropped him down at the feet of Jesus. And I think that's such a beautiful story. He talked about how we need to carry each other as friends to the feet of Jesus. And he talked about that sometimes maybe you are the one who needs to be carried to the feet of Jesus by your friends. So the importance of friendship. And friendship is very, very important, maybe especially in these times when we are not able to go to summer camp and maybe we haven't seen our friends for a long time. Friendship is still important. And today I want to continue to talk a bit about friendship. I want to take a look at a couple of stories in the New Testament. I want to take a look at Jesus because the Bible tells us a lot about Jesus and his friends. He has 12 friends, 12 disciples. I bet you know that. And I often see these 12 friends kind of as a small group. Maybe you're in a small group yourself in your church. And I see this small group of disciples as Jesus' small group. He shares life with these 12 friends. He walks with them, talks with them, discusses stuff with them. He eats with them. He has a lot of fun with them, I guess. He does a lot of things with these guys. And this group is not a very beautiful group. It's a messy group. It's a messy group of people. We have Peter. He has a very big mouth. He says a lot of stupid stuff. He also says a lot of good stuff. Then we have John. He's like this chill dude who is very lovable, who loves a lot of people. If you have read the Gospel of John, you know what I'm talking about. He's very poetic. And then there's Judas. Judas, I guess you know Judas. He was the guy betraying Jesus. He was the guy stealing money. Not necessarily a very good guy, but he was in the group as well. He was in the small group. And that's the beauty of church, actually. That in church, we have a lot of different people with a lot of different backgrounds, but everybody is welcome. But what I want to focus on today is actually not the big group, the 12. I want to talk about 3 persons, 3 of Jesus' best friends, James, John, and Peter. It seems like when we read the New Testament that these 3 guys are some of Jesus' best friends. And that's what I want to dive into today. In Mark chapter 6, we see that Jesus, if you remember the story of Jesus feeding a lot of people, he just fed around 5,000 people, and he taught them. It's been a lot of hours, and I guess Jesus is very tired at this moment. So we read that Jesus sends the disciples to the sea. He says, hey, go to the sea, I will meet you on the other side. And then it says that Jesus goes to the mountain. He goes alone to the mountain. He goes to be with the Father. He needs to be alone. He's exhausted. He's tired. He needs to be filled up. And that's why he goes to the mountain, to be alone with the Father. His most important friend, the Father. Another place in Mark, we see something very interesting, and that's what I want to start talking about. Because this is when Jesus he doesn't go alone to the mountain this time. He actually brings 3 of his very good friends, James, John, and Peter. And I want to warn you, this is a kind of a funky story. It's a weird stuff. It's a weird story. Weird stuff is going to happen. But I invite you to hold on. So we read from Mark chapter 9, verse 2. And it says like this. After 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John with him and led them up a high mountain, where they were all alone. There he was transfigured before them. His clothes became dazzling white, whiter than anyone in the world could bleach them. And there approached before them Elijah and Moses, who were talking with them. Elijah and Moses have been dead for a lot of years, just so you know. Peter said to Jesus, "Rabbi, it's good for us to be here. Let us put up 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He did not know what to say. They were so frightened. Then a cloud appeared and covered them, and a voice came from the cloud. "This is my son, whom I love. Listen to him." Suddenly, they looked around. They no longer saw anyone with them except Jesus. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus gave them orders not to tell anyone what they had seen until the Son of Man had risen from the dead. Like I said, this is a pretty weird story. A lot of weird stuff happens, and I'm not even sure that the 3 disciples, I don't think they know what's going on here. It says that they're very frightened and very confused, and I kind of understand that. But I love this story, and I love the message of this story, and I guess you could do a lot of sermons about this story, but I just want to tell you about one simple observation that I've made. I love how Jesus invites his 3 best friends to the mountain, the one place where he normally goes alone. This is his holy place. He goes there to hang out with God and a couple of dead guys, apparently. But this time he doesn't go alone. This time he invites his 3 best friends. He wants to show them what is important to him. It says that he was transfigured before them, and that his clothes suddenly became dazzling white. The disciples suddenly saw Jesus more beautiful than ever. And Jesus wanted to show the disciples his beauty. This is not something he shares with everybody. Only the 3 best friends. He shares with them the best that he has. And to me, this is a beautiful thing. It's a huge inspiration when it comes to friendship. Sharing your deepest joys with your best friends. And good friends, they know how to rejoice with you. When you experience something awesome, your best friends will know how to rejoice with you. They will know how to be happy with you. We celebrate each other when things go well in our lives. We cheer for each other. So I want to ask you, do you have a friend in your life with whom you share your joys? Someone who doesn't just turn the conversation towards him. And are you a friend are you able to rejoice with your friends without turning the conversation towards you? Are you able to rejoice with your friends when they are successful or when they are happy? I think it's important that you have friends with whom you share your deepest joys and your happiness without the fear of being too much. This is what Jesus does here. And he also shows them his relationship with the Father. And that's also a part of this. So sharing your deepest joys with your best friends and sharing the relationship with the Father with your best friends. I think that is very important. And I want to continue reading a bit, going a bit further on in Mark. We have another very interesting story about Jesus and his 3 good friends, just before the crucifixion of Jesus. And we are in Mark chapter 4, verse 32 to 42. It says like this: They went to a place called Gethsemane, and Jesus said to the disciples, "Sit here while I pray." And then he took Peter, James, and John, the 3 good friends, along with him, and he began to be deeply distressed and troubled. "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death," he said to them. "Stay here and keep watch." Going a little farther, he fell to the ground and prayed that if possible the hour might pass from him. "Abba, Father," he said, "everything is possible for you. Take this cup from me, yet not that what I will, but what you will." Then he returned to the disciples and found them sleeping. "Simon," he said to Peter, "are you asleep? Couldn't you keep watch for 1 hour? Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." Once more he went away and prayed the same thing. When he came back, he again found them sleeping, because their eyes were heavy. They did not know what to say to him. Returning the third time, he said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Enough, the hour has come. Look, the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer." This is a hard story, and I bet if if John and Peter and James read this story today, they would be kind of embarrassed. Why were we so stupid? They don't get what is happening here. Jesus shares his deepest and most intimate pain with them. He is scared to death. And he asks his 3 friends to stand with him. And what do? They fall asleep. They lay on the ground and they fall asleep. Only for 1 hour. They couldn't even stay awake. They don't get what is happening here. But I think that there is a great wisdom in what Jesus does here. He knows that he is going to die very soon. And he is scared to death. He needs his friend to stand with him. He clearly doesn't need a lot of friends. He only invites the 3 best friends. 3 very, very good friends. And one of the cool things here is that Jesus doesn't expect his 3 friends to solve his problems. He knows that he has to do this. He knows what he's going through. He doesn't expect his friends to solve his problem, but he asks his friends to stand with him, to pray with him. So I want to ask you right now, do you share your deepest pain with someone? I don't think you should share it with everyone. Maybe you should share it with 1 or 2. Jesus shows the importance of letting people in. All the way in. Where stuff is not pretty. Where stuff is messy. And sometimes when I experience pain in my life, I tend to do something stupid. When I'm scared, or when bad news hit me, or when I feel guilty about something, I have a tendency to think I will handle this myself. This is my own fault. I deserve this. I deserve to be alone in this. But Jesus shows us here that we are not supposed to stand alone in our fear and in our pain. We need friends. We need each other. So it's a lie when we tell ourselves that we need to handle this on our own. We need to stand together. We deserve that. And the point is not that you need friends in your life to fix your problems, but there's power in standing together, in praying together. So Jesus shows us the importance of letting people into your deepest joys and into your deepest pain. So who are you inviting into your life? Who are you standing with? Who are you rejoicing with? And who are you crying with? I want to challenge you to intentionally stand with someone. If you feel like, I don't have any friends, I don't have anyone who cries with me or who rejoices with me, then you need to find a friend like that. But maybe you already have that. Maybe you already have a good friend. Maybe you know who to go to when you are sad or when you're happy. And then that's great. And then I want to challenge you to find someone to stand with. Maybe someone around you needs a friend. So when I'm done speaking in just a few seconds, I want you to ask God a simple question. Maybe just sit in silence for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and then ask God this simple question. Who needs a friend right now? Who needs me? And I bet that God will make a name pop up into your mind. And then I want you to pray for that person. And then I want you to do a very simple thing. I want you to send that person an encouraging text message. because I think that someone needs you right now. So guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this short talk about friendship, the importance of friendship, and how Jesus shows us how to be friends. I wish you all a great summer, and then I am looking forward to see you very soon, hopefully. Bye.